Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Skip Allen Paints. And let's see, we were going to paint the texture in. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to paint on this layer mask. Remember, black conceals and white reveals. So if we paint directly on the layer mask with a white brush, then everywhere we paint, we will reveal the texture. So let's change the brush. Now, you can use almost any brush. You could use this opaque round channel. It's just opaque round oil brush. I call it a channel brush because I tweaked it somehow or another, probably just made it more opaque or more opacity. But I have another brush I like to use. It's called KB. Come on, let me get to it so I can remember what it's called. KBRW Feather Channel 1. Now, I think that Karen, and this is Karen Bonneker's, and I believe it's in her brush category called Happy Zen. But really, any opaque brush will work. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to do is I want to be sure and change to white. Because I want to paint on this layer with white to reveal the texture. Now, be sure that your black line is around there before you start. Okay, so we've got white, we've got my brush selected, and I'm going to make the brush a little bit smaller, and let's zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. Now, I don't like to zoom in on images because I like to see what it, we're having a few issues right now. I like to see what it looks like for the total painting. All right, so if I come in here and I start painting, you see how this brightens and brings in that paper texture. Now, it wouldn't be right there where the paint is real thick, but it would be right here where it's not that thick. Look at how that pops into place. And would I want to put any over on the far end? I believe so. We would put some right here. And I would go on and put it there because that doesn't look like impasto to me. It brightens the image considerably as well. All right, now this is where I really am interested in putting it. And that's down here on these lines, or these drips that are coming down. And on the soft, the thin brush up, paint up near the top. So I would come in and I would start putting in the texture just where the drips ran. Now, sometimes it may not have texture if it's going over a very thick place. Like right there's a little thickness, but I'm going to ignore that. And I would bring it into these leaves, but I wouldn't cover up the leaves because the leaves and the rose petals and so forth would not have the canvas texture because they're done with impasto. So, you just come in there and put it in where you think it should be, and you can kind of feather it out, just a lighter approach like that, kind of feathers it out back up to where it was thin. We'll bring it down a little bit smaller. I'm even going to put some right there. I've got some more of this over here, and I think I would put a little bit in it. And let's now take this back to its regular size, and we'll make it just a tad smaller. Okay, so now you're seeing how all of this texture becomes brighter and more obvious that we've got canvas showing in these areas where there is thin paint. And that's what you want to, that's how you add the texture or the painted texture to an image like this. Now, you can do this any number of ways. I've got this thing set on overlay. You might like it to try it on some other kind of thing, some other setup. Like if we went to gel, we would get the same sort of texture, but it's going to be very dark. And so if it's very dark, we would have to reduce its opacity a lot, but it's always going to give it a little bit of grayness to the image. So that's why I like overlay. But again, try any number of the composite methods. You may find something that would work better for you. If you'll notice, I put, I put in more white on the original than I did on the second one. All right, so let's turn this one off and we'll turn this one back on. There you go. So I took out some of this as well over there. And that's it. I mean, that's how you can come back in and add texture to your image in places. All righty then, I guess that's it for this demo, and I'll come back and talk a little bit more about impasto. Bye-bye.